Hi everyone, thank you very much for watching this video, which is aimed at high school students and other people who are interested in pursuing studies at the School of Commerce of WASEDA University. At the School of Commerce, we teach most of the courses in Japanese, but we also teach some of the courses in English in order to endow students with the ability to understand the vocabulary that is used globally in business in English, and in order to work in such international contexts. As an example of such a course in English, I would like to teach about corporate social responsibility today. In Japan, corporate social responsibility is usually abbreviated as CSR, C S for social, R for responsibility. And if you visit the website of a large or mid-sized Japanese company, then usually for almost all of these companies, you can find information about CSR or corporate social responsibility. So in today's lecture, I would like to talk about the meaning of corporate social responsibility or CSR, and about the reason for businesses to engage in CSR initiatives. Before that, I would like to briefly introduce myself. My name is Bjorn Frank, where Frank is the family name. I'm working at the Faculty of Commerce as an associate professor. I mostly focus on marketing in my teaching and research, but I also focus on sustainability and CSR, which is what I'd like to talk about today. And I also do research on innovation management. I obtained my doctoral degree in Japan at the Tokyo Institute of Technology. And beforehand, I obtained master's degrees in Germany and in France. In the course of today's lecture, I first talk about the meaning of corporate social responsibility, or CSR. Then I talk about why companies engage in CSR initiatives. Afterwards, I would like to discuss the effects of CSR on the profitability of a company. When a company engages in corporate social responsibility, certain groups of people, which are called stakeholders, will react to these CSR activities. And therefore, these CSR activities will influence the profitability of the company that engages in these CSR initiatives. At the beginning, I would like to talk about this in theory. So what kind of a mechanism connects CSR with the company's profitability, which is the final goal that managers at companies pursue. And then I will introduce actual research results that show how, based on real company data, corporate social responsibility influences profitability. So first, I would like to talk about the meaning of the term of corporate social responsibility. So corporate means company. Yeah, so this is the responsibility of a company. And here it is social. That means the responsibility of a company to society. So originally, the goal of a company is to earn money, to increase its profits. And when a company makes a lot of profits, it can give these profits to the shareholders or stockholders who own the company. However, the concept of corporate social responsibility emphasizes that a company is responsible not only for making profits and giving these to shareholders, it's also responsible for society, as the company is a part of society. And at the beginning, when this concept came out and became, say, famous and generally accepted, it mostly meant contributions to worker welfare. So a long time ago, maybe companies only looked for profit and didn't really care about whether their employees got injured, etc. But CSR in this context means caring about worker safety, making sure that workers cannot hurt themselves while working and stay healthy in the long term. Also, it means paying workers and employees a fair salary so that they can live a life that is worth living. That was one of the first original meanings of the term of corporate social responsibility. It was very much focused on employees. Then it was also focused on the community and on different social causes. For example, responsible companies made donations to associations that care about children, poor children in Africa or in different places. So corporate social responsibility at the beginning was a concept that was very much focused on benefiting different social actors, parts of society, because the company was a part of society and needed society, different social actors such as workers and the community around the company's headquarters and factories in order to run its operations. Nowadays, the term and the concept of corporate social responsibility is broader. It has not only a social component or dimension, it also has an economic and environmental dimension. And why does still called corporate social responsibility? It is also often referred to as sustainability. So sustainability means the ability for something to continue for a long time. So in the context of social sustainability or the social component of corporate social responsibility, this means managing employees in a way that these employees will stay with the company for a long time because they get a salary that is good enough, and making sure that workers do not hurt themselves, that they're safe, so they can continue working for the company effectively for many years. Yeah, so that helps the company to continue operating for a long time. Yeah, so the company is then sustainable. Then there's an environmental component of sustainability or corporate social responsibility, which means that the company cares about the environment. Companies use all sorts of environmental resources. For example, a company producing pencils has to use wood. So they have to chop down trees and forests in order to make these products from wood. So they use natural resources, in that case wood, in order to make products. But we all know that if a company, this particular company or other companies, use too many environmental resources, then this might not be a good thing for the environment. Yeah, if you chop down the whole forest, then there may no longer be any forest. Or if you, in a dry place, if you use all the water available in the area, then there may no longer be any water. Or if you're a fishing company and you take away all types of fish from a particular area in the sea, then in the next year, there may no longer be any fish. They may not be able to recover. So taking too many resources is not a good thing. And environmental CSR, or environmental sustainability, deals with minimizing the use of resources, trying to use renewable resources and trying to use environmental resources in a responsible way so that the company would not overuse them in order to enable these resources to continue existing for a long time. Also, it means not changing the state of the environment in terms of emissions. Yeah, a company may manufacture products and services and therefore may emit wastewaters and toxic gases that may not be very good for the environment. So it also means minimizing waste and minimizing emissions in order not to alter, to change the state of the environment in a negative way. Then economic sustainability or economic CSR means is mostly focused on the production of products and services and on making profits. It means that the company should behave in a way that it makes profits, not only right now in the short term, but that it also can make profits in the long term, in the future. Yeah, if a company takes too much risk, then it might be lucky and everything works out fine, and it may get huge profits right now. But maybe if it always takes too much risk, then in the future, the company might go bankrupt. Yeah, so a company then, under this concept of economic sustainability, should behave in a way that it can make sure that it also exists in the long term. So it means not only looking at now, also looking at the long-term future. It also means not cheating customers, because if you cheat customers, you can make a lot of money right now, but the customers might not come back in the future. And you might even get sued, and you might get punished for doing illegal things, and then the company might cease existing. So economic sustainability deals with behaving in a way that the company can also continue making profits in the future and can continue existing as a company. These three types of sustainability are all kind of connected to each other and belong together. And therefore, many companies nowadays say their goal is not only to make profits right now in the short term, but also to make profits in the future. And they pursue something that is called a triple bottom line orientation. Bottom line means profits, and triple means 3 dimensions. So many companies nowadays say, okay, we want to behave in a way that we maximize the benefits in terms of profits, long-term profits, not just short-term profits here, and also that we act in a way that benefits society and the environment. So here I have, again, the same thing that I just said before, but it's a little bit more detailed here. You can see that economic sustainability relates to long-term financial returns, which means long-term profits. It also means that companies should try to create products and services that have high value to customers so that customers are satisfied and come back in the future so that the company can continue making money in the future. It also means treating business partners in a fair manner so that the company can continue working with them in the long term in the future if it needs them in the future. Social sustainability means the company engages in practices that benefit employees and that also benefit the community around the company's headquarters or factories or wherever the company operates. And environmental CSR means environmental protection. So on the one hand, minimizing resource use, minimizing the input, the extraction of resources from Earth that then are used in the company, but also minimizing what leaves the company, for example, pollution or emissions or waste, different things that might alter the current state of the environment in a negative way. Since CSR encompasses these 3 dimensions, then also more generally, there are a few concepts of CSR that connect these 3 dimensions. One is ethics, trying to behave in a way that is responsible ethically responsible, that is not bad, but that is good. Then governance, meaning that the company is managed in a way to make sure that nobody in the company abuses the company to his or her personal profit, but that the company properly manages to fulfill its purpose in terms of profitability and responsibility to social and environmental actors. And transparency means showing, being open and honest and showing what the company is doing, and showing not only the positive things, but also the negative things, and how the company will address the negative things that happen in the company. In a big company, there are also always not only good things that happen, also bad things that happen. And transparency means being open, being honest in addressing all these different things and showing how the company will then address these negative things that happen in the company. That way the company can foster trust in the long term. Next, I would like to talk about the reasons for engaging in CSR initiatives. So why do companies care about corporate social responsibility? It is clear and understandable that companies may care about profitability, but why should they care about the environment? Why should they care about society? They're not the government. I already mentioned one reason. The company needs social actors such as employees, not only now, but also in the future. Therefore, it is important to act in a responsible manner that makes sure that these employees can continue working in the long term. Also, the company needs environmental resources to operate, such as materials. So the company should behave in a responsible manner to make sure that it can use these materials, these environmental resources in the long term. So therefore, the company has an interest in pursuing social and environmental CSR. But the main goal of companies is to make money, to increase their profits. And therefore, what is important for companies to consider is whether these CSR initiatives that they engage in, whether they strongly reduce their profits or whether they might even increase the company's profits. If they increase the company's profits, then for the company would be interested in pursuing these CSR initiatives because it helps the company reach or achieve its major goal, which is to make money, to earn profits. So if you ask managers why they engage in corporate social responsibility, then usually they don't say because ethics are very important. They say because they hope that these CSR actions help the company make money in the long term. So what you see here is a survey, a result of a survey on managerial motives for environmental responsibility. So why do companies care about the environment? And you see that the managers who responded to the survey said that the main reason was branding. They hope that they can improve the brand image. And the brand image is something that the company needs in the long term in order to earn more money, to sell something to customers. The managers also responded that they think that environmental responsibility can help maximize the value of their products and services because customers care about the environment to a certain degree. So increasing the value of products and services would help companies sell something to customers. And companies also hope that by caring about the environment, they can improve their relationships with different social actors, such as the government, but also customers and investors and other social actors, which are called the stakeholders of the company. By contrast, ethics and sustainability themselves are not really so important. Of course, every human cares about ethics to a certain degree, but managers are usually charged with the mission to increase the company's profits, at least the long-term profits. And so what they care most about is how whether CSR activities can help the company increase their long-term profits. And that's what you can see here as the result from the survey. So next, I'd like to talk about how CSR, such as environmental CSR, can contribute to the company's long-term profits. So you see here, the company thinks, okay, we want to do to engage in certain types of CSR activities, such as the reduction of CO2 emissions in order to curb global warming. Yeah, that's a type of environmental CSR. And having such a plan means having a strategy. And then the company needs to deliver. For example, it would improve its factories so that they have lower CO2 emissions, or it would improve its products and services so that these products and services consume less energy. And that is something that would help minimize the use of energy, and therefore also minimize the amount of CO2 emissions, so that the company has a lower environmental footprint and does not contribute to global warming in the same way as it did before. So achieving this goal is what is called CSR performance. And if a company achieves a certain CSR goal, such as environmental protection, then there can be certain advantages and disadvantages that influence the company's profitability. First, the company may have certain costs in order to achieve its CSR goals. So if a company wishes to reduce its CO2 emissions, it may have to buy new machines that consume less energy. It may also have to use, say, if a car manufacturer wishes to produce a car that has lower CO2 emissions. So, for example, a car that requires less gasoline to be purchased or less electricity to be purchased in the case of an electric vehicle. Then the car usually needs to be lighter. It needs to use lighter materials, which can be more expensive. Also, the company will have developmental costs. It needs to develop the new technologies used in this particular car, which is also costly. So achieving CSR goals, first of all, causes higher costs to the company. Also, if a company, for instance, wishes to contribute to worker welfare and increases the salary of all workers in the company, then this leads to higher costs. So achieving CSR goals, first of all, usually, not always, but usually tends to lead to higher costs. But CSR can also reduce costs. For instance, if a company buys new machines that require less electricity, that consume less electricity, then the company every year when it uses the machines has a lower bill for electricity and does not need to pay the same for electricity and can pay a lower amount of money for electricity. So it can save costs. And for every year that it uses these machines, it can save costs. And as the company can save costs, this means the profits will be higher. But if the company has higher costs at the beginning, this means there are higher costs and then there are lower profits. So from a cost perspective, usually CSR leads to lower profits, but sometimes also to higher profits. It depends which of these two effects is stronger. However, CSR is beneficial in a way that usually it triggers favorable stakeholder reactions. So stakeholders are certain groups of society that have a strong relationship with the company and that the company needs in order to run its operations. So for instance, one type of stakeholder is the customer. The company needs the customer to purchase products and services. If the customers don't purchase any products and services, the company cannot make any money. But if more customers purchase products and services, the company can make more money and will have higher long-term profits. So CSR is something that also customers care about. If the company has an image of being very responsible, of caring about society, of caring about the environment, then customers tend to appreciate that and are more willing to purchase products and services from the company. This helps the company increase its revenues, which is the money it gets from customers, and therefore also its profits. Also, it has been shown that CSR is something that affects employees. So say if the company pays higher salaries to employees, then these employees tend to be more motivated and the company can hire better employees who are more motivated and who have higher abilities. And then these employees work harder, work more effectively, and therefore can help the company reduce its costs and increase its revenues. Yeah, so this leads to higher profits. Also, investors care about CSR. So a company that behaves in an ethical way can be trusted and faces lower risk. Yeah, if a company engages in a very unethical way, then the company might be punished by the government, or customers at a certain point of time might no longer buy products and services from the company. And then suddenly the company may experience losses. You know, that's very risky. And investors who give their money to the company, who buy the company's stock, they care about risk. They don't want to buy parts of a company, so buy stock from a company when they think they might lose all their money in the future. Yeah, so CSR is a signal for low risk, low investor risk. So investors are more willing to provide capital to the company because it's less risky for them. Yeah, so that means a company through CSR can also satisfy investors who are willing to provide capital at a lower cost. And when costs become lower, then as a result, profits become higher. Also, governments may appreciate CSR activities because the government cares about society. And if the company cares about society, that is something that the government appreciates and likes. So governments may reward that kind of activity through subsidies, by monetary support of the company, which is something that benefits the company and its operations. And it may also be less strict in controlling the company, which may reduce the costs of dealing with the government. So this also would contribute to the company's profitability. So you see that CSR performance can lead to higher costs, but also to lower costs. So it's not really sure if this leads to higher profits or lower profits. Maybe this leads to slightly lower profits, but CSR performance is usually welcomed by society, by different stakeholders, who then engage in different ways that benefit the company's long-term profitability. I've just explained that different stakeholders react to CSR in a positive way. They appreciate CSR and therefore act in a way that can benefit the company and can help the company make more money, increase its profits in the long term. So now I'd like to show you the results of research studies that have confirmed these different effects. So this is a study that shows how ecological value, which means a product being eco-friendly, being environmentally sustainable, being good for the environment, how this affects the consumer's purchase intention. Yeah, so before we said that if a company cares about the environment, then usually consumers are more willing to buy something from the company, which helps the company sell more and then earn higher profits in the future. So why would consumers care about eco-friendliness in a product? So eco-friendliness or ecological value is a benefit for the environment. Yeah, it's not a benefit for the consumer himself or herself. And consumers care about their own benefits, yeah, more than they care about the benefit to the environment. Although most consumers are ethically responsible people, they may appreciate benefits to the environment, but they care most about themselves. Yeah. So this study looked at whether consumers see any benefits for themselves from the fact that they can buy an eco-friendly product from a company. So this study has shown that eco-friendliness or ecological value positively influences different types of values, that is, benefits that consumers perceive for themselves from buying a product or service. So ecological value, for example, increases emotional value. That is, if a consumer knows that a certain product or service that he or she can buy is eco-friendly, benefits the environment, then the consumer may be happy about that, because the consumer may care about the environment and may think, oh, I did something positive by buying this eco-friendly product. I benefited the environment that I care about. So the consumer may be happy, and this happiness contributes to the intention to purchase something from the company. Also, ecological value can lead to social value, which means that if the consumer buys an eco-friendly product, the consumer can tell his friends about that, and then the consumer is able to show off and tell others, hey, look at me, I'm a very responsible person. I care about the environment. I'm a good person. I said show off, but it can also just mean more mildly that by buying an eco-friendly product, a consumer can show to others that he or she is a good person, which is something that counts, that matters to people as part of their social relationships. And for this social value, consumers are willing to pay money, and they're willing to purchase these products and services in order to improve their social relationships with other people. Sometimes ecological value can also have increased functional value. Functional value means that the consumer buys a certain product or service in order to reach a certain goal through the functions of the product. For instance, if you eat food, then one of the goals you have is to no longer be hungry, but another objective or aim that you may have is for yourself is to stay healthy. You may buy a certain food and eat it in order to stay healthy. And consumers tend to believe that certain eco-friendly types of food, such as organic food, are good for health. Yeah, so it helps the consumer reach a certain goal that he or she has in life, which would be the functional value. And then this would contribute to the intent to purchase from the company, because the consumer thinks, oh, by buying this product, I can reach a certain goal in my life. However, this is something that usually is not a very strong effect. It is strong for organic food, but it's not strong for all types of products. So usually this influence here is not very strong. Economic value means that the consumer can save money. So if you buy a car that doesn't need much gasoline, that has a high gas mileage, then this is an eco-friendly car because it minimizes the use of gasoline or electricity as resources. And when you buy such a car, you don't have to buy gasoline or buy electricity that often. So you can save money, and saving money is called economic value. And consumers care about saving money, so the ability to save money contributes to purchase intention. However, this effect here is also not strong for all different kinds of products. So usually ecological value or eco-friendliness mostly influences emotional and social value, which then influence the willingness to purchase products and services from the company. However, overall, we can say that CSR, in this case, eco-friendliness of products and services, and contributes to the consumer's willingness to purchase something from the company, and that may help the company sell more and increase its profitability. As a different stakeholder, I brought a study here, or I'd like to present the results of a study on employee reactions to CSR. So what is the effect of corporate social responsibility on employees? So if the employee finds that the management of the company cares about CSR and engages in CSR actions, then consumers are more likely to identify with the firm. That means they think they have the same values as the management. And as a result of that, they are more willing to work hard in their job. A very obvious example is if the management cares about employee-oriented social CSR. So the company, for example, introduces certain benefits for employees, such as free healthcare or higher salaries, or special measures that ensure the safety of workers. And then, of course, workers are very satisfied with that, would identify more with the company, and then would be more willing to work hard in the company. But also, it has also been shown that employees care about other types of CSR, such as environmental CSR, and as a result of that, also show better performance on the job. As another type of stakeholder that may react to CSR, I'd like to introduce here a study on investor reactions to CSR. So investors are people who have money, and with this money, they buy stock from the company. They invest their money in the company in the stock market. And it has been shown that here that different types of CSR satisfy investors, or they have a positive influence on investor perceptions of the company, which then makes investors more likely to invest in the company, because investors care about low risk. And if they think the company behaves in ethical ways, then investors think that investing in this company is less risky, and they are more willing to offer to invest their money and to offer their money to the company. And being more willing means the investor is willing to invest money in the company at a lower cost. Usually investors invest their money in companies in the hope of getting some return, of getting interest, or getting profits in return. But if investors are more willing to invest in a certain company, that means they do so even when they have a lower expectation of profits that they can get. So if investors react positively to CSR, this means they they provide their capital to the company at a lower cost. So this helps the company save costs, which then would increase the company's profitability. Next, I would like to talk about the overall influence of CSR and profitability. We have seen now that CSR can influence the costs of a company in a positive or in a negative way. It can also trigger favorable, positive stakeholder reactions. So employees, investors, and customers may react in a positive way to corporate social responsibility, in a positive way that helps the company increase its profitability. And there are also various studies that measure and show how CSR influences the company's long-term profitability overall. So this study here shows that the CSR performance, which can mean benefiting the environment, benefiting employees, engaging in ethically responsible ways in any of the three dimensions of corporate social responsibility, leads to higher profits, has a positive influence on profits, leads to higher profits in the long term. That means there's a time lag. That is, if the company improves its CSR performance, then its future profitability will become higher. Why is future profitability? Why not its profitability right now? Because stakeholders may need some time to understand what the company is achieving. So if you're a customer and you consider buying the products and services of a company, you may not know exactly what the company is doing in terms of CSR right now. Usually advertising the company's CSR performance takes some time. The consumer has to learn what the company is doing for society and for the environment. And this process takes time. So it takes time for stakeholders, such as customers, to react to the company's CSR. And therefore, the company's CSR performance influences not profitability right now, but profitability in the future. And this study here shows that CSR has a positive influence on the stock value of the company. So if a company engages in positive CSR activities, which are the activities that we've talked about today, then this leads to higher stock value. So the company's firm value will become higher. But if the company does something negative, so such as polluting the environment or mistreating consumers, consumers, or also mistreating employees, for example, mistreating female employees, then this has a negative effect on the company's profitability, and also here in this particular study on the company's firm value. And usually the negative effect of doing something bad is stronger than the positive effect of doing something good. So that shows that it's very important not to engage in any negative actions, to behave responsibly. So in order to prevent this negative effect, and once the company can achieve that, it can also try to do positive things for employees and for the environment in order to improve its profitability and to improve its firm value. So thank you very much for listening to this mock lecture here. I hope you have learned something, and I hope that you will be interested in pursuing studies at the School of Commerce. Thank you very much for listening.